Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Breen. I'm a transgender woman. I talk about all things horror. And today I'm going to tell you all about Terrifier 3. The third installment in the slasher B-movie indie film series starring Art the Clown. Or at least featuring Art the Clown. So, I saw Terrifier 3 opening weekend. I saw it on a Sunday matinee because I'm broke and I needed an escape from life, and this movie offered that. And a lot of people in this movie escaped from life. It is, as you were probably aware from the first two Terrifier films, all about the kills. Now, if you haven't already seen the first two Terrifier movies, don't watch this one, because you won't know what in the fuck is going on. One thing this movie does, and I appreciate it tremendously for doing this, is it answers a lot of the unanswered questions we had from the previous films. Which is good, because I lost my lighter. God damn it. How the fuck do I lose my lighter? When you get to the end of the first Terrifier, you're going to have questions about what the hell did I just watch? The second Terrifier movie just raises more questions and doesn't really answer the questions you had from the first movie. Fortunately, without getting into spoilers too much, Terrifier 3 does a really good job of at least answering the pressing questions people had. The most pressing questions were, what is Art? Why can't he die? What happened to the girl in the first movie with the deformed face? And those get answers. I'm not going to tell you what the answers are because that would be spoilery, and I don't want to spoil it in case you go see this movie. Which I would assume you will, because it's a hella popular horror movie right now, and if you're a horror fan, and you're a fan of this channel, I assume you've already seen it, or you've already bought your ticket, or you're already planning on going. Is it a good movie? I would argue yes. By the metrics I use to determine if a movie is good or not, i.e., did I have fun watching it? Yes. Hella good movie. Great time. I have some nitpicks, which are pretty standard. Unlike most people who are dogging the movie for some reason for not being as low budget as the first film and not looking as gritty and well, grimy. What the fuck? They actually got money and they made a good looking movie. Let them enjoy their success. I mean, the first movie was made on a $35,000 budget. This one had a $4 to $4.5 million budget. Let them celebrate their success by showing off that, hey, we know what we're doing now, and we can actually do it well. I am going to spoil two things, though. Just kills. I'm not going to spoil the whole movie, and I'm not going to tell you who dies. But one of the kills, and I have to mention this, trigger warning, first, Art kills kids. And I don't mean teenagers, I mean kid-ass kids. Children. Michael Myers never really did this. Freddy allegedly did it in his past, before the movies, in the backstory. Jason, we don't really see kill kids. We know it does from Pennywise. But a lot of horror movies shy away from killing kid-ass kids. Little kids. Art is just like, fuck it. Their flesh comes off. Let's take their flesh off. See what happens. So I have to put that out there. If you are disturbed by children being killed, you might have a hard time with this movie because at least one of the murders of the children is extremely violent and very explicit. So I have to put that out there if that disturbs you. The second thing I have to spoil, and again, I'm not going to say who it happens to or how or when or where in the movie it takes place, but we get the reverse of the infamous kill from the first movie. So if you've seen the first movie, you know what kill I'm talking about. Upside down, top to bottom. I'm not going into the details. He reverses that, and what I mean by that is he does it to a dude this time. And just like we saw everything in the first movie, we see everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything in this movie. So it is sort of a, I shall say, what do you call it? A fair play, I guess. You know, getting evening the score, if you will. It's like, all right, we cut a girl in half. Let's cut a dude in half. So that happens. Again, I'm not going to say when in the movie that happens or who it happens to, but I'm preparing you because a lot of people criticize the first movie for being misogynistic or whatever, even though he kills just as many men in that movie as he does women. It's that specific kill people get hung up on. So the filmmakers kind of sort of even the score, if you will. I'm not going to talk about any other kills or any other plot points. I'm going to mention a couple of things about the characters. One, we have another one of those shitty-ass true crime podcasters in this movie. We had to deal with that in Halloween 2018. I make podcasts. I used to be a journalist. Well, kind of, sort of, still am. But I was an actual paid professional journalist working in the industry. So, there's a difference between being curious for curious sake and wanting to find the truth and being exploitative. A lot of these true crime podcasters are exploitative. Not all of them, but the very bad word that this woman is in this movie is the exploitative type. This movie's hilarious. Now, he's a clown. Yes, he's a killer clown, but he's still a clown. And he's a mime. And he's done, I shall say, humorous little anecdotes and things throughout the franchise. That's what he's known for. And he keeps that up in this one. I think the narrative through line in this movie works better and makes more sense than in the previous two films. That being said, I do, of course, have issues, and I have to talk about those. And no, I don't give a shit that he killed kids. Good for him. Kill kids. Kill dogs. Kill cats? We're going to have an issue. You can kill dogs all day long, though. I'm good with that. Kill horses. I'm fine with that. We need more movies that kill animals. My favorite scene in The Ring is when the horse turns into a puddle of blood. Congratulations, filmmakers. Thumbs up from me. But, that's not my issue. My first issue is we have an ambiguous moment in the movie. Early on, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's an ambiguous moment where we don't know what happened, and we don't know who that particular person may or may not be relevant to the story going forward, or if they have any connections to anything as had previously. The reason I don't like that is because it's kind of, well, it's either setting up something that we might not get a payoff, or it's lazy on the filmmaker's part. Either way, I'm not a fan because I don't want to have to wait. Excuse me. Had to gag there for a second. Anyways, I don't want to wait a whole nother 3-5 years before the next one comes out to get answers. But we may have to do that. That's a minor nitpick. It's not a major gripe. It's not like going to knock the movie down for me. The second thing is, while we do get answers in regards to what art is, why he allegedly, or presumably from what we've seen, cannot die. And we do kind of get a little bit of not an origin story, but a little bit of where he comes from a little bit. And like I said, or hinted at, we do kind of get what is behind all of it. The supernatural force that's behind it all. And we get an explanation for why the woman with the deformed face turned violent at the end of the first movie. We get an answer to that. What we don't get, and this is a minor nitpick, and I guess it's open to interpretation, but there was a apparition, a childlike female clown that was prevalent, and this is a bit spoilery, I apologize for that, but fair warning, that was pretty featured heavily in Terrifier 2. We don't see that entity, that apparition in this movie. And that kind of raises questions and kind of bothered me a little bit because I was expecting we would. Instead, what we got was fine for the movie. And, well, I'm okay with it. We get a shower scene, as is pretty standard in the horror slasher subgenre. We haven't, I believe, had a shower scene in this franchise as of yet. We finally got our shower scene, and kudos. They did it well. They did the shower scene, thumbs up. That's one of the highlights of the movie. Ever since Psycho, everybody has been trying to do their own take on the shower scene. And again, without spoiling it, this shower scene in this movie, I would put it in the top 5 horror movie shower scenes, just automatically. Automatically. So there is that. Now, as is also to be expected in a slasher style movie, which this kind of sort of is, although some people debate if it's a proper slasher or not, stick this up your butt. I would say at least one of the characters gets their comeuppance in this movie, and I'm good with that, because that character was kind of shitty and really got what they deserved, and I loved how playful Art was with that particular kill, because he was giving them what they wanted, even though they didn't probably want to go the way they went. Doesn't matter. Be careful what you wish for, because sometimes the devil is the one listening, and he grants wishes too. He just doesn't give you exactly what you wanted, or what you think you thought you wanted. Visually speaking, this movie's fantastic. By far the best looking of the 3. Now, again, that is going to be subjective, because some people would say the first one's the best looking because it's the grittiest. Okay. Most polished, well-produced one of the 3. Let's put it that way. Obviously, biggest budget. And some really great, hilarious moments from Art. I don't want to spoil it, but he has a really... there's a scene in the movie where he sits on Santa Claus's lap, and the entire auditorium erupted in laughter when that scene happened, because Art is goddamn genius, a comedy genius. So, excuse me. As far as I'm concerned, at this moment in time, and this could just be, recent bias, obviously, that is a thing. This is my favorite of the 3. And I haven't reviewed part 2 yet, I'm aware of that. I still have to review part 2. I've seen it. Obviously, I wouldn't have gone into 3 if I hadn't seen 2. I've seen All Hallows Eve as well. Although I'm hesitant to watch All Hallows Eve 2. Because those aren't really connected necessarily. I mean, loosely. But not really. But we'll see. We'll get there when I get there. You know, I got hundreds of movies. I've got over 500. I've got a list of over 500 movies on it to watch. To review for this channel. This channel isn't going anywhere. Once again, the movie does not rely too heavily on mood music. The music is barely in the movie, and only when it needs to be. You know, Friday the 13th, Halloween especially, rely too heavily... Scream is the worst offender of this. Rely too heavily on the soundtrack to carry the tension and the mood of the movie. And this movie's like, no, Art and his antics are going to carry the movie. If we need music, we'll pop it in. If not, let Art do the talking. Metaphorically, because he doesn't actually vocalize. Necessarily. Although there is a possible character-breaking moment where he may have vocalized. It is, again, open to interpretation. But again, I'm not going to spoil it too much. The final confrontation of the movie, that final battle between our final girl, our hero, who we've been following for at least 2 movies now. Rock solid. I'm going to join the bandwagon and say she is absolutely among the top tier final girls in horror. Automatically. She's up there. I don't know if she's in the top 25 or the top 10, but she's certainly in the top 50. Guaranteed you that. Maybe even higher. I haven't determined yet, because I haven't seen the conclusion yet. One thing I do like about this particular film is it does sort of wrap up some stuff in a satisfying enough way that if this was the last one, I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, all right, you know, the ending is open for further films, but it could also be a definitive ending, depending on how you look at it and what the filmmakers decide to do. If they decide to explore where we think they're going to go with Terrifier 4, I'm here for that. And if they just decide, you know what, we've had enough, let's end on a high note, great, I'm here for that too. Either way. Obviously, the movie just came out. It's still in cinemas. It just finished its opening weekend, like yesterday. I'm recording this Monday morning. Well, late Sunday. Well, I'm recording it at 5 in the morning, so you can decide if it's Sunday night or Monday morning. But, I loved it. My rating system is rent or buy. Well, again, obviously you can't really rent this movie. You, at best, can go to the cinema and watch it if you'd like. And you can't really officially buy it at this moment in time, but you're going to want to. As soon as it's available, this is an absolute buy. I can't say for sure if this is my favorite in the franchise, but I will say I think this is the best one in the franchise so far. And that's including the sort of but not fully connected All Hallows Eve films, of which I've only seen the first one, so take that with a grain of salt. But, damn good movie. Go see it in the cinema, please, for the love of God. Support indie filmmakers, support this movie, and let Hollywood know that we are goddamn done with shitty-ass fucking B-list superhero movies, Joker. I am so thrilled that this movie is wiping the floor with Joker's carcass. I love the Joker as a character, but that movie did not need a sequel. I mean, you could literally take any Batman movie as the sequel to that movie. And, god damn it, DC, Marvel, Disney, Warner Brothers, we're over it. Enough of the goddamn comic book movies already. Let's take a fucking break and catch our breath. Go support indie horror. Stop giving your money to the studios who keep making shitty-ass franchise movies that we've already got 36 sequels. God damn. Go watch our Terrifier 3. Stay cool.